Are the Philadelphia Eagles back? That's 3 consecutive wins. Is quarterback Jalen Hurts back in the 3 consecutive wins? He has now combined for 9 total touchdowns and 0 turnovers. A huge formula to the Philadelphia Eagles' success. And what a win over the Cincinnati Bengals in enemy territory as the Birds now are 5-2. And what a second half for Vic Fangio's defense. We're recapping this stellar Eagles dub right here on Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr., and no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, as always, we greatly appreciate you for making today's show a part of your day, and I hope everybody is having a fantastic Sunday, October 27th. You probably celebrated Halloween over the weekend, and our Sundays are always better off when the Eagles come through and notch that W in the win column. 37-17, the final score from Cincinnati. And all week, we talked about a couple of things. This weird and wacky history between the Eagles and the Bengals. Philadelphia had not beaten Cincinnati since 2000. Over their entire franchise history, they never beat the Bengals in Cincinnati. And in their last 5 matchups against one another, 2 games were decided by a tie in overtime. And in the second quarter during our watch party, appreciate everybody who tuned into our watch party alongside myself and producer Chip. It was a close game. Eagles, Bengals, jockeying back and forth. And we're wondering, are we going to see another close game between these two teams? Is it going to come down to the wire and be another stressful Sunday for Philadelphia? Shoot, are we going to see a tie once again? We didn't see a tie, because the Eagles outscore Cincinnati in the second half 27-7. And what's so impressive about this Eagles win, it's how the defense recovered from that opening drive. It's how the offense was able to bail the defense out. And it's the continued great play of quarterback Jalen Hurts, who was fantastic in this football game. And that opening drive, you knew that after the Eagles had 13 sacks their last 2 games, 8 against the Giants last week, and 5 the week prior against Cleveland, the game plan for the Bengals, get rid of the ball quickly. And that's exactly what Joe Burrow did early in this game, in particular on that opening drive. It was surgical from Cincinnati. 17 plays, 70 yards, 10-plus minutes. They were 5 of 5 on third down. Cincinnati converted on their first 7 third down conversions, I believe. They were clicking. They were playing really well. And from that moment on, Philadelphia got it together. They made some adjustments. And this is what happens when you have a veteran defensive coordinator in Vic Fangio who has this unit playing very well. They gave up 10 points the rest of the game. And so a big question that we had going into this game, is Philadelphia's defense legit? We have seen a lot of growth from a lot of these young players. They had gotten after the quarterback. They had played very well. Well, this Bengals offense is a very good unit. I know that Cincinnati was without T. Higgins, but Jamar Chase had a really good game. Mike Gesicki had a really good game. The Eagles didn't necessarily get after Joe Burrow as far as the sack totals go. Only 1 sack for the team. Nolan Smith, a half sack, combined with Milton Williams. That's 2.5 sacks in the last 3 games for Nolan Smith. But they were good against the run, and they also won the turnover battle 2-0. And teams that win the turnover battle in the National Football League win about 80% of the time. And so Jalen Hurts is not turning the ball over. He's impactful with his arm. He's impactful with his legs. And this Eagles defense has really played phenomenal football for the last 3 weeks. And I love the development that we're seeing from these young players. Up front, at that second level, and in the secondary. So let's start to talk about some of the specifics here. Are the Eagles back? 3 straight wins. They are 5-2. Jacksonville Jaguars come to town next week. A completely winnable game. And going into the bye and coming out of the bye, we had looked at this pretty easy Eagles schedule, and we had said, this is the moment where the Eagles can really find their stride. That Browns game can serve as the launching pad for the rest of the Eagles season. Well, it was an ugly win against the Browns, a dominant win against the Giants, and a dominant win against the Cincinnati Bengals. And you know what I love to see? Last week, this week, people are loose. Players and coaches are having fun. We are seeing people smile on the sidelines. And we never saw that in 2023. We haven't seen an Eagles team play this light and carry themselves in this manner going back to 2022. So offensively, they've started to find their identity. Jalen Hurts is playing well. They have a lot of weapons on that side of the ball. They found their little bit of an identity, and they found their identity on the defensive side of the ball as well. There's been no special teams breakdowns, so that's been great. And the coaching, the game plan has been good, and the Eagles have really peaked in the second half. They are a second half football team right now, and they seem to get better as the game progresses. Now, I do want to get to our sponsor for today's show before we specifically talk about Jalen Hurts and some individual performances. So don't go anywhere, but be sure to sign up with the Game Time app. In a very crowded and competitive ticketing marketplace, Game Time sets itself apart from all of the other apps for a few reasons. Easiest app to use, the best app to use, and they also have the best seats at the lowest price guaranteed. And because they specialize in last-minute tickets, prices drop as the event gets closer. So you can also see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. You can access tickets from your phone and easily resell your tickets. And I love how you can see the vantage point and the price point from the seats that you will have, because when I go to an event, I want to see what I will be seeing. Now, thanks to Game Time Picks, this app makes it easy to find tickets to sporting events, Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, college football games, but also it's not just an app for sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and more. So download the app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS for $20 off, CHATSPORTS. That's $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. Hurts in this game individually, right? I thought he was awesome. He outplayed Joe Burrow. 16 of 20, accurate and efficient. Couple of big throws downfield. He continues to be one of the top long ball throwers in the NFL. And he didn't turn the football over, and he was so good with his legs. So 16 of 20 on the day, 236 yards, a touchdown through the air, a 46-yard dot to DeVonta Smith, and it was great to see DeVonta Smith involved in this pass game. And when the Eagles can have a diversified approach offensively where multiple players can hurt you, they're just better off because they're more difficult to defend. Smith's best game of the year. 6 catches, 85 yards, and that long touchdown. And then Hurts on the ground, 10 carries for 37 yards and 3 touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns via the brotherly shove and a touchdown where they ran that read option. The edge crashed towards Saquon. Hurts had the agility, the speed, and the athleticism to bend the corner and get around the edge. It's good that we are seeing the speed back for Hurts in the ground game. They also ran a couple of quarterback draws, and Hurts looked like the 2022 Hurts. This is a great sign, and he's playing confident and smart football. My favorite throw of the day, outside of the DeVonta Smith long ball, was the 3rd and 16, which led to a touchdown for Philadelphia, where Hurts started off looking toward the right side of the field, went through his progressions, and fired a dart in between 2 defenders to A.J. Brown, who also had another big game. He's been excellent since coming off that hamstring injury the last 3, 5 catches for 84. We also saw some good pocket mobility and pocket feel from Hurts. There was another play where I really liked how he drifted to his left and found Grant Calcaterra, who since Dallas Goedert got hurt, has played really well. Today, Calcaterra, 3 catches for 58 yards. So Hurts leading the Eagles' effort today. DeVonta Smith, you got him involved. And how about what this Eagles defense is doing? Eagles defense, excellent against the ground game. They only gave up 2.9 yards per carry. And Cincinnati realized that they couldn't have any success running the ball, so they became overly pass reliant. And Burrow went 26 of 37, a touchdown and a pick, sacked once, lost of 12 yards. And the Eagles secondary held up very well. The fourth down stop from Cooper DeJean was an excellent play. And that was on the Bengals side of the field, a risky play for Zach Taylor to go for it on fourth down. And on that play, it was man on man. Cooper DeJean was following Jamar Chase. Tells you a lot about what Vic Fangio thinks about Cooper DeJean when he's one-on-one with Jamar Chase. Chase lines up on the left side of the field. He goes in motion, comes back to the left side, and then he runs behind the line of scrimmage into the flat. Cooper DeJean read it. Cooper DeJean was able to follow Jamar Chase and not get confused by the pre-snap motion, and then made a great tackle in space. He continues to play really good football. And then later in the game, I kind of count that, by the way, as a giveaway because the Eagles scored a touchdown off of it. And then later in the game, Isaiah Rodgers in for the injured Darius Slay, one-on-one against Jamar Chase. Burrow throws the long ball. And Isaiah Rodgers looked like the player that we saw in training camp and in the preseason when it looked like he was going to earn a starting role, but Darius Slay and Quinyon Mitchell were just playing really well, and that's why Rodgers hasn't played all that much. But Isaiah Rodgers turned around, addressed the football on Jamar Chase, and tipped the ball up, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson comes over from that safety spot and is able to intercept the pass. A great, technical, smart cornerback play. And then another defensive player who I want to give notice to is Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith with the half sack. He got home on Joe Burrow for the Eagles' only quarterback sack of the day alongside Milton Williams. He continues to get better each and every game. By the way, for Hurts, 14 games with 2+ rushing touchdowns. That is the most all time. And so this Eagles team desperately needed some confidence. They needed to win a couple of games in a row to get their mojo back. And it looks like the Eagles have their mojo back. They're buying into Nick Sirianni. He has his mojo back. And Jalen Hurts looks to be very confident as well. This is a very impressive win for Philadelphia, going into a place against a desperate team, against one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, where they have never won. They battled some early adversity, and they come back, they win, and they dominate in the second half. 27-7 is how they outscored Cincinnati after recess. So let's ask you this. Are the Eagles and Jalen Hurts back? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. Let me know what stood out to you during this game, and let me know down in the comment section right now.